funny how it's very easy to come to a conclusion that when Nollywood actors who are popularly known for playing bad boys or lover boys start their own YouTube channel or create their own movies, that they would create something along the same lines. What is Banke on about again? So I recently watched this movie called Brothers in Arms by John Ekanem. And if you know John Ekanem, he's known to play the lover boy or bad boy most of the times in his movies. So tell me why I start watching this movie and I realize it's a faith-based movie. And this is not the first time I'm slightly surprised by a Nollywood actor who has been typecasted into these lover boy roles, starting his own thing, and it ends up being faith-based. SODK started his own YouTube channel sometime last year, I think, and I was actually pleasantly surprised that most of his movies, I think 80% of his movies, are faith-based. This just goes to show you that more often than not, these actors are stark opposites of the characters that they tend to portray. More often than not. I'm not saying all the time. Never assume you know an actor because you see them on your screen and they tend to portray a certain character and you just think, oh, this is how this person is. They will shock you. That being said, John Ekanem's Brothers in Arms was not a bad movie. For the most part, I actually loved the message of the movie and how it highlighted the place of prayer in the life of a Christian and how it is never to be neglected. However, the movie felt like I was watching a combination of The Godfather, Fast and Furious 7, and The War Room. I don't know what you can make of that, but yes, it was a combination of those three movies. I think my main problem with the movie was, in a bit to highlight the importance of praying and praying consistently, it just made the movie or the messaging seem like prayer is a rigid activity. And for someone who is coming from a place where I used to think that way, I think that's why it didn't sit well with me. Now hear me, I'm not saying that, it's not good to have like a war room or a prayer room where you go to God with your prayers, you're fighting battles and the likes. No, I'm not saying that. Prayer is communication with God, constant communication. But God is not limited to a room. God is not limited to a space or a place. You can pray anywhere at any time. So I think the fact that the men had to meet in the war room to pray, and if one of the brothers in question is not available, the other brothers get upset that he's not available to go and pray in the war room, and his absence, which for the most part in this movie were justified reasons, now points to him backsliding. It just didn't sit well with me. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, it was not a bad movie. I just like the fact that it was a faith-based movie. I like the fact that it highlighted the importance of prayer, but it was giving Godfather, it was giving Fast and Furious. I don't think it's a bad watch. So well done, Johnny Ekanem. All right, bye.